We good.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to week 2 of the NFL season, episode 2 for Big Bet Bros podcast. We are your weekly all NFL sports wagering podcast and trying to keep you guys ahead of the curve, make you a little bit of money while you're watching games on Thursdays and Saturdays and Sundays. And we had an exciting week 1. We tried to do a recap earlier in the week, had some technical difficulties, but we are back and rolling. So excited to dive into week 2. Hopefully everybody had a fun week 1. It was kind of what I expected. Lots of close games, lots of questions that I think we're a little closer to answering. So, Hunter, what'd you think of week 1, man?
I thought week 1 was great. From just a strict entertainment perspective, it was a very, very entertaining week 1. All the games were... A lot of the games came down to the wire, came down to the last play. So just from a fan watching football, you just like to see that. You know, there was a lot of just crazy things that happened. And unfortunately for me specifically, betting perspective, I had a lot of games come down to the wire, but they just went the wrong direction for me. So kind of fun, kind of frustrating, but I'm so glad it's back. Betting is officially back. Can't wait for the week 2.
Yeah, that's NFL, dude. I think NFL is so much more difficult than college, just because things are so much closer. I mean, the
Agree.
Chiefs and Ravens, it was a toe. I mean, at the end of that game, Packers, Eagles, that game could have gone either direction.
Yep.
You know, I don't want to go too far into all of our picks, but yeah, they were close. Results wise, you ended up down 1 unit after a week. I ended up even. I went 2-2-2. You went 1-3-2. So
Something like that.
So yeah, we have a lot of stuff to get to for week 2. One of the things that I really want to point out and talk about today as we're going through these games is the way that the lines move. If you were to hop onto DraftKings on Monday night, right after the Jets and the Niners were done, one example that we saw right away was, the Bills and Dolphins was basically a pick 'em. All right, that line has moved significantly. Saw the Ravens only favored by 8 against the Raiders. The next morning when we woke up, it was already at 10. It came back to 9 now, 8.5.
8.5 DraftKings right now.
Yeah. So these things move a lot, and it's really just so if you don't understand, I had a couple people reach out to us after we did our podcast last week, and they said, "Hey, you guys did a really good job of just breaking down the basics." And look, me and Hunter, we're not professionals at this, right? Like we've done well the last couple of years, and we've really put a lot of time into learning and trying to get better. But just so you understand, when Vegas sets a line, that doesn't necessarily mean anything about who they think is going to win the game, lose the game. They're trying to set a line to make money. Okay, so for example, last week on the Chiefs and Ravens, that was a -3. Chiefs favored by 3 from basically the time that came out, and so it stayed that way the entire time, which means that Vegas made a lot of money on that game because regardless of who won, they had money coming in on both sides, and they kept what's called the juice, which is the extra left over. If you put a wager in at -110, you get that money back. Basically, they're keeping that 10 that the other side wagered, right? So Then you see a game like the Bills. Was it the Bills? And what was the one we were talking about that moved so much? No, the Rams. Okay, the Rams game with the Lions. That line started out at 3.5, with the Lions favored by 3.5, and it moved all the way, to 5.5. Right. Everyone was on the Lions. All right. It was the Lions. No matter how far they moved that, when that game was over, the public took a lot of money from Vegas on that. Okay. So the lines are meant to bring money in on both sides of the table to get it as close to even as possible. So that's just something to remember and think about when you're seeing these. And man, it's amazing how close it ends up. I mean, with Vegas. So, Hunter, you have any thoughts to add to that?
No, I think you hit on everything just right. It's funny. how much more aware you are of these things whenever you are giving picks out to people and trying to give a little bit of advice, because you just become hyper aware of, the half a point, the line moving a little bit. Did the public win? Did Vegas win? It's funny now how much more aware that I am of that kind of stuff, and I think you outlined it perfectly.
Yeah, and the thing is Vegas always wins. That's not true. The public still wins, right? The public still wins. Not as much as Vegas, but I don't think you can let that deter you from, I still think you have to go with your gut on these things and not read too much into it. Like, it's good to use those things as reference points and to kind of take it, to add the logic in, but you still got to go with what you're really believing and thinking. I found the worst weeks that I have are the ones when I really overthink it and make it too complicated. So, you ready to dive into these games, man?
I'm ready to dive in. I don't see a no diving sign anywhere, so let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Tonight, Dolphins hosting the Buffalo Bills. Man, we already talked about this a lot. We went back and forth on this. I know I have. What do you have? We've got the Dolphins favored by 2.5 now at home against the Bills.
I'm having some. Let's see here. I'm having some tough times going with this pick, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I'm going to go Bills plus 2.5. I do think it is smart to either wait for the line to go to plus 3 if you are on the Bills, whether that's betting live or buying the half a point before the game, whatever you got to do. But if we're just talking straight up spread, I'm going Bills plus 2.5. I do have my reservations because, as my brother pointed out on a phone call earlier, the Bills have a really, really bad defense. I'm a little worried that they're not going to be able to stop Miami. This also feels like a spot where Miami is a better team at the beginning of the season and the Bills are a better team late in the season. I mean, gosh dang, the Bills won 7 or 8 games last year in a row just to sneak into the playoffs by 1 game. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this, but I'm just going to make a decision because I really like having money on a Thursday night game. My gut has been telling me Bills this entire time, but now I'm kind of having some second thoughts. But I'm still going with the Bills plus 2.5. Try to get it at 3 if you can, if you do like the Bills.
Oh, man. So I don't see how the Bills slow down the Dolphins. And if you watch the games this weekend, I went through and kind of rewatched on the NFL app, and the defense for Buffalo is just, they struggle so much. Josh Allen is carrying the load. And then I started diving into the Bills' schedule. They have maybe the toughest schedule in the entire league. They go through 2 different stretches. One's a 5-game stretch, one's a 4-game stretch where they're just playing a gauntlet. So they have to have this one tonight. So, Hunter, I'm riding with you on this. I was Bills from the very beginning. I bounced over to Dolphins because I don't think that Buffalo is going to be able to really slow them down. But you know what? The Dolphins got to slow down Josh Allen. And, dude, he over the last couple of years, I mean, here in Kansas City, Josh Allen has been like, he's so fun to watch. You know, the 13-second game, the battles that we've had with them. He's, in my opinion, he's the second best quarterback in the league. And when you have the second best quarterback in the league, it doesn't matter if your defense is outmatched. We've seen that time and time again, and I think he can carry the load. So, problem I have with this, the site that I use, it's the Bills plus 2 right now, which I know it started at plus 1, so it's still better than where it was at. I'll probably buy it to 2.5 on my end. So if we're going DraftKings line, which we are, Bills plus 2.5. That's what I'm riding with.
Okay. Let me know what you think of this, too, as well. Is this a game that people should look at the over-under? Because I feel like this could potentially be a very high-scoring game. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's at over 48. The line's at 48.5 on the total. So 7 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, if I was going to go, I would go over. If I was going to bet
Okay.
that, that's what I would lean. What's more logical? Is it more logical, more likely that these two teams have a, 28-21 type of game? All right, there you're at 49 right there. Okay, 28-21, or is it more likely that these two teams are playing a 20-17 game? Absolutely more likely that it's a high scoring game. Now, that's what the public obviously is all going to think. So, the one thing we do have going with us on this one, obviously the public has been all over Miami since the lines moved so much in their that direction. So I like this pick. We'll see how it rolls. Excited to watch it tonight.
Cool. All right, let's go to the next game.
All right, Raiders at Baltimore. This
Okay.
one was an interesting one. Started out at 8, moved to 10. I think Baltimore blows the Raiders out. Baltimore does this to everybody in the regular season except the Chiefs and except really the Browns. Those in-division matchups that they have obviously are close games a lot. But I'm riding with that. We don't really need much explanation on this one. I'm going Baltimore -8. I am buying a half point. Buying a half point here. I think they're at home. Came off that loss the other night to us, Kansas City. Yeah, all over them. Baltimore -8.
Okay. I'm also gonna go Baltimore -8. I'll buy the half point, or I'll buy the half point or bet it live if I can get it to -8. But yeah, I think just like my brother said, the Baltimore Ravens are a regular season juggernaut. They beat up on people that are not the Kansas City Chiefs or not in their conference. So you're going to see
In their
traditionally,
division.
yeah, sorry, in their division. So traditionally, you're going to see Baltimore roll teams that are not, the Browns, the Steelers, or the Kansas City Chiefs. What's the other team that's in their division? I'm drawing a blank right now.
Oh, the Bengals,
The
Steelers,
Bengals.
Browns.
Yeah.
Well, just like I just said on the total with the Miami and Buffalo. If we're just going off of which one's more likely, is it likely that this is a close game or likely that Baltimore runs away with this? Now I know that it could be a 14-point game and Vegas scores a touchdown and boom, it's 7-point game and that's it. Raiders cover. I get that, but Baltimore all the way here.
Okay. What's our next game?
Niners at Vikings. Niners are favored by 5.5 on DraftKings. What you going? I mean, dude, the Vikings look pretty solid. Sam Darnold, week 1, coming out slinging.
What did you say the spread was?
It's 5.5.
Okay. I'm staying away from this game. I don't know why. If I had to pick this, I would for sure go Niners. This does feel like a bit of a trap. Like, why is this line so close? I'm not sure why. I mean, Sam Darnold looked great for the Vikings, like Dusty just said. But, dude, the Niners looked so dominant. There's just a weird feeling I get from this game. So I'm actually going to stay away from this game. I know my brother loves this game. So I'm going to let him talk about why you should bet this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Vikings are nearly as good as they looked in week 1. I think the Niners are awesome. I am going to buy a half point on this. I'm going Niners -5, just for a little bit of extra protection. It's only, it's going from 110 to -120 on that. So, I mean, the defense for the Niners, same as always. Offensively, after they got the Brandon Ayuk stuff all fixed up, they looked great. They didn't have Christian McCaffrey the other night. Kyle Shanahan is the best run game coordinator in the NFL. It's unbelievable what they do.
I know.
Like, if we didn't have Andy Reid as our head coach, I would want Kyle Shanahan. Like, that's.
I'm pretty sure Shanahan could scheme me up enough to get about 15 yards, but then I'd have a season-ending injury on the third play. So.
Yeah, I think one of the other day, I think Toby mentioned that, the barber. He doesn't have very much stamina. You know, he plays soccer with Adele every now and then. But I think that if you threw him in a football game, maybe let him run a little end around, he could look like Debo for a play or two with Kyle Shanahan calling that. So
I agree with you on that. By the
um,
way, wanted to let you know I've got Facebook pulled up on my phone. Toby said the dudes, so he is watching and he is commenting.
and he also sent me a parlay that he wanted us to get, talk about, which we'll talk about that at the end. So I couldn't read it if we didn't go with the Bills. I wasn't going to be able to read that if we didn't go with the Bills, but we did, so we can go ahead and knock that parlay out.
Okay. Hey, and real quick, sorry to keep interrupting you. My friend Jordan has been on a parlay tear. So if you're going to share a parlay from one of your friends, I'm going to get his parlay to share as well.
Absolutely.
His name's Jordan Powell, so we call him Parlay Powell.
There you go. Okay. Anything to add on that one?
The Niners and Vikings?
Yeah.
Not really. I think it's more of last year. I think that the 49ers should win this game easily. I think the 49ers are the second best team in the league. They seem well coached. Brock Purdy obviously is still able to get it done. So, yeah.
Dude, I do agree with you on the feeling of this game, though. The feeling of a trap. Okay. I mean, Vikings have an awesome home field advantage. I want to see a game up there at some point. I just don't see how Sam Darnold I don't see him playing well against the Niners defense at all. So that's where I'm rolling with. Next game, Saints at Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 6 at home. Whew. Are you betting this game?
No, sir, I'm not. Are you?
No, I'm staying away from it too because I really don't know. I mean, the Saints looked incredible last week, but they were playing Missouri State. And I don't that I mean, gosh. Full disclosure, it wasn't on the pod last week, but I jumped on the Panthers plus the 4 like last minute with a half unit, and I immediately regretted that. So Panthers, I don't know what that was. That was the worst showing I've seen in an NFL game in a long time. But
they're cooked.
Yeah, the Saints look good, but I don't trust it. I mean, I feel like if I was going to pick this game, I would go Saints to cover just because of how good the Cowboys looked in week 1. And kind of coming back down to earth a little bit, but their defense looks so nasty. But I'm not going to bet this game. I'm interested to watch it. I want to see another week of both of these teams. So,
okay, all right. What's the next game? I'm not betting that one either.
The Chargers at Panthers.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about the Cowboys and Saints.
Yeah, moving. Yeah. So next game. Yeah, the next game. Chargers at Panthers. I believe this is Chargers favored by 6. I am betting this game, and I'm betting the Chargers. Absolutely betting the Chargers.
Do you want to talk about it for a second? I'll put you solo.
Yeah, let's go. So I'm really only playing this game just because of how upset I am at how the Panthers looked last week. And so, yeah, I mean, it's 6 points. Okay, 6 points. Chargers looked decent. Herbert wasn't great. They don't have any receivers. Really no reason to bet this other than the fact that the Panthers looked as horrible as you absolutely could, which could be a setup. But going with my gut, Chargers -6 on the road at the Panthers. I think the QB thing is going to be something interesting with Bryce Young here. So see how that goes.
All right. Sorry for cutting you off there visually. I'm also going to go Chargers -6. I think the Panthers look like possibly one of the worst NFL teams that has ever existed. They're giving me Detroit Lions 0-16 vibes. Except they don't have Megatron. Yeah, this absolutely could be a trap because I think the Chargers should be favored by way more than 6. Also, the Chargers the past couple years have been a terrible favorite. Chargers are usually a pretty decent underdog, but they're a terrible favorite. But man, I think Harbaugh has elevated the Chargers. I think you're going to see some instant return on investment there. I'm going Chargers -6. I like this bet a lot. I think the Panthers need to figure something out. They can't even sell tickets to their home opener, dude. Like it's getting pretty grim down there in Carolina, and just for the sake of the football fans, I hope that something gets turned around, but I don't see it happening in week 2.
Yeah, one other thing to add is they lost their best defensive player. He's out for the year.
Who, Brian Burns?
No, he's traded. They traded him.
Okay.
They traded him I think they traded him maybe I don't know, it was last year. I feel like it was and something with all those draft picks. He was involved in some trade.
Is Jake Delhomme out as well?
Jake Delhomme. Oh man. Hey, now they were good then. That was a fun group to watch right there.
Heck yeah. I think
yeah, it's the Panthers can't do it. I will never bet them again. I will never put anything on them ever again in my entire life. So, Colts at the Green Bay Packers. Colts are 3-point favorites after Jordan Love gets hurt, goes out. I am staying completely away from this one. I do want to add, after I made that Colts pick last week, I realized that the Colts were 1-14 against the spread in the last 15 years. First, I got a little bit nervous, and then I was like, you know what? That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And they covered for me. So I'm not going to go with them for 2 weeks in a row, though. Packers are a good team. I know they don't have Jordan Love. They have a good defense. They've got playmakers on offense. I don't think they'll play well against the Colts. I think the Colts will win the game, but I'm staying completely away from this one.
I'm also staying completely away from this one. The Packers are weird, man. I feel like, I don't know. They're just very inconsistent. Like Jordan Love, even whenever he was before the injury happened, obviously, he just didn't seem sharp like I thought he would. I don't know what the Packers are. I don't know what the Colts are either, because Anthony Richard completed like 6 passes, but one of them was a 70-yard bomb right on the money. Didn't even have his balance. Didn't even have a leg to step into. His raw athletic ability is something that is going to be so fun for NFL fans to watch, or just people in general who tune into the ESPN top 10. He's gonna be on it pretty frequently. So,
yeah.
But I'm staying away from this game. I am curious to see how it goes, because it's probably going to be entertaining. But that's about all I've got to say.
Yeah, and I'm not to brag or anything here, but that's my favorite pick that I made last week, because Anthony Richardson is electric, dude, and I know that he's not going to be he's not going to be your 25 for 30. Having an 80%, 75% completion percentage all the time. But he is electric. He's a playmaker. I mean, that game shouldn't even really have been close, but the big plays that he's able to create, dude, he's good. He's good. And we didn't really get to see him last year because he got hurt. So I hope that he stays healthy, just for, like you said, the entertainment standpoint. Moving on, Bucks at Lions. Right now, Lions are 7.5-point favorites on DraftKings. This is a really interesting game because the Bucks look pretty solid. Baker Mayfield, I saw all the memes, and how does Baker Mayfield become better than Deshaun Watson? And it only happens to the Browns, that kind of thing. Baker looked good. He's still got Mike Evans. He's still got Chris Godwin. I like the Bucks, man. I think they're a sneaky pick, really, to win that NFC South. I know the NFC South is kind of up in the air anyway. Falcons are not going to win it. The Saints, I don't know. What do you think on this game, man?
Wait, are you picking this game?
No, I'm going to play this. I think I am going to play this game.
Okay. So
are you playing this game?
No, I'm not. Did you already give your pick?
No, I haven't given my pick, but you know what? I don't have it down on my sheet. It just really looks appealing and enticing. Okay. So let's stick to the system. We'll stay away from it, but I do want your opinion on the game if you have one.
I do have an opinion on this game. I'm also not betting this game. The spread seems too weird. It feels like they are definitely baiting people into taking the Buccaneers plus 7.5 because they were so dominant last weekend. I think, though, this is a spot where the Detroit Lions can cover this spread.
Yeah.
Something in my gut is telling me Detroit is actually going to cover the 7.5 favorite. And I'll tell you why. I was a little concerned week one that Detroit was going to come out flat and that, they were going to have a bit of a sophomore slump from the perspective of, hey, they were underdogs all last year. They overperformed. And I just thought, maybe they're not for real and they're going to come out and kind of disappoint. Dude, they looked totally up to the task. They didn't look like they missed a step. I mean, the Los Angeles Rams are a team that Detroit usually has kind of a tough time with. Like that's almost like the Chiefs and Bengals type rivalry at this point because of the whole Matt Stafford and Jared Goff trade. But with all that being said, Detroit absolutely stepped up to the plate. They covered the spread against the Rams. I think they can cover the spread against the Buccaneers. And from the Buccaneers standpoint, the Buccaneers last year had some weeks where Baker Mayfield looked like a dark horse MVP pick. And then they had games against really bad teams where they just didn't look prepared at all. So I could see a world where the Buccaneers take a big step back this week and the Lions continue to roll. So if I was going to pick this, I probably would
Pick the Lions.
I would pick the Lions. It would be the big brass pick of the week probably, but I would take the Lions. But I'm actually staying away from this one.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from it too. And the Bucs played the Commanders last week, which rookie quarterback, first game starting, he played okay. I think you're right. This is too much of a weird line. The Lions, I mean, at home again, they did cover the spread last week. It was in overtime. The Rams absolutely just the clock management, the timeout situation. Sean McVay was disappointing. Watching how he managed the end of that game. He didn't even give his defense a chance in overtime. They were absolutely gassed. No timeouts. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic, but they did cover the spread, like you said, but it was in overtime. So I'm staying away from this one as well. The next game, Seahawks at Patriots. Seahawks are 3.5-point favorites. I'm staying away from this one as well.
All right, I'm picking in this game. You care if I make my case?
Go for it.
Okay. I am picking the Patriots. I got them at plus 3.5. Is that still the line, Dusty?
Yes. As far as right before we hopped on here, it was 3.5.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm taking the Patriots plus 3.5. I'm a little scared about this pick. I'm not going to lie. A little bit scared about this pick because the Patriots, they could very well still be a bottom 5 team in the league. However, I like the fact that the Patriots are home dogs again. It feels like they're not getting any respect after beating the Bengals last week. Now that could be because the Bengals are terrible week 1 and week 2. I think Joe Burrow has won one game between week 1 and week 2 in his career. It's something just insane. He is terrible week 1, week 2. So I'm getting distracted at this point. Patriots, I'm going to give them some love again. They were my only win last week, but I just think they're in a good position to take this. I like that it's 3.5 instead of 3. I'm going Patriots plus 3.5. What do you think, Dusty?
Well, if it were me, I would tell you to quit while you're ahead with the Patriots. Okay, they got you the one in week 1. They're not a good football team. Somehow Jacoby Brissett, though. Jacoby Brissett, dude. I mean, the Patriots do have a good defense. Okay, they have a good defense that has played together for a lot of those guys have been together for a long time. So I do like their defense. Jacoby Brissett is kind of like the ultimate, I don't know, game manager that kind of keeps bouncing around and somehow just kind of gets the job done. The one thing that you do have going for you if you're going to pick this game and pick the Seahawks or pick against the Seahawks is they are traveling across the country. right? They're going, West Coast to East Coast. So that's just why I'm staying away from it. I mean, the Patriots are a bad team, but Seahawks got to travel over there. So if you want to roll with it, you feel like that in your gut, I say stick with it. But man, hope you don't have the Panthers feeling like I have after you pick this week with the Patriots. So
That's fair. Well,
but
that's why it's called betting and not investing.
There you go. Okay. Next one, Jets at Titans. Titans are 3.5-point dogs at home against the Jets. Man, they blew that one last week, didn't they?
Yep. Are you picking anything in this game?
I am.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give the camera to you and let me know what you're thinking on Jets versus Titans.
All right. I am going to play Jets -3 here. Okay. It's mine's 3.5 currently. I think it actually might move. But if it doesn't, I'm buying the half point, taking Jets -3, just so I've got the push opportunity there if it is a close game. Look, the Jets played at the Niners. Niners defense was nasty. The Jets, basically had one good drive. Garrett Wilson, I love him at receiver. I think that it's going to take a little bit more time for them all to gel, mesh. I mean, the one thing we saw in week 1 was a lot of, and this has been talked about ad nauseum by everybody, is people not playing in the preseason. I mean, nobody plays in the preseason anymore. So week 1 is really, really sloppy. And I think that's another thing we have to remember with all these bets and picks is you're not gonna look the same, right? People are gonna get better. So I'm going with the Jets. I think the Titans with their quarterback situation. I mean, Will Levis is not the answer. Calvin Ridley looked pretty good in that first half against the Bears, but that defense for the Jets is nasty. I mean, they could score 2 touchdowns themselves against Will Levis. So Jets -3.
Okay. I did not think the Jets defense looked like as advertised. I didn't think the Jets looked as advertised. Dude, they let the backup running back for the 49ers, it looked like Christian McCaffrey out there.
Yeah, but man, like I just said, I believe that that's a product of Kyle Shanahan, dude. It hasn't mattered who the running back is for the 49ers for the last 6 years. I mean, they've had tons of guys in and out. It doesn't matter who's playing running back for them. They've got weapons all over the place. The scheme is phenomenal. That is the worst I've seen the Jets defense look. But I thought it was an incredible game plan by the 49ers. Everything in the pass game operates so well because they run the ball so well. I mean, Brock Purdy, in the situations that he's in, it's just easy. It's easy because of how they scheme everything up. So anyway, I'm still sticking with that. I think the Jets bounce back. I think they get a win on the road at the Titans, which is just, I don't think the Titans are good.
Okay. I'm picking in this game as well. I'm actually taking the Titans +3.5. I think that's what I got it at. Let me double check. So I took the Titans +3.5. That's what the line was at on DraftKings this morning whenever I placed the bet. This feels terrible. It feels absolutely awful. I think the Titans are terrible. I think the Titans are inconsistent. I think they should have never fired Mike Vrabel. I think the fact that they fired Mike Vrabel and lost a game the same exact way that they used to lose with Mike Vrabel says a little bit more about their administration, basically their organization. But with all that being said, the Titans are home dogs against a team in the New York Jets that is still terrible. Man, the Jets, yeah, they got a new coat of paint. People think that Aaron Rodgers is still a good quarterback. Aaron Rodgers has not thrown for 300 yards in years. Okay, now I get that he was injured all last year, but the season before that, he didn't throw for 300 yards. Like his last season at the Packers, he didn't throw for 300 yards. So I think Aaron, by his standard, is cooked. I think that there's a potential for Aaron Rodgers to get hurt in this game because I think the Tennessee Titans pass rush is for real. I think now Caleb Williams last week, obviously he was a rookie, and rookies don't have good debuts. I get all that. But Aaron is not mobile anymore. He used to be able to escape the pocket. Now he's a sitting duck in there. I do worry for his health in this game. I think that he's going to be sacked multiple times. This just feels like a classic Titans win or covering the spread where, they should have won last week easily. They lose. This week they should lose. They're going to cover.
You're probably right. Probably right. And you know more about Titans because you're down there in Nashville. You get to kind of – do you listen to much sports radio down there? Do you listen to the analysis on them?
Not really. I don't care for the Titans.
Yeah. I'm rolling with it. Good points. We'll see. We'll see how this one goes. Is this the only game we're split on so far? I think everything else could be on the same side.
Yep, so far this is the only one we're split on, and I like it too because we hadn't discussed this game at all. I think we were both surprised which direction each person was going on this.
For sure. Browns at Jaguars. Jaguars are 3-point favorites. I had this one on my sheet, but I think I'm going to take it off. I had the Jags minus the 3, but I'm taking this one off because I think it's a trap. I think the Browns looked as bad as you can look. Deshaun Watson, my gosh, I don't understand how you can go from being, a top 3 quarterback in the league 5 years ago, to just, looking like me throwing the ball out there. Not quite that bad, but you get it. And then I felt like the Jaguars really blew an opportunity last week against Miami. They did nothing in the second half offensively. I was disappointed because I thought Trevor Lawrence I picked him to really have a great year this year. And they just didn't look in sync. So I'm taking this one back off. I'm taking this off. I'm not touching it. I was going to lean Jags minus the 3 though. So
all very good points. I'm not playing it. Not to make a massage joke, but something about Deshaun Watson, he just rubs me the wrong way, man. Like, he has no clue what he's doing anymore, and there's no amount of massaging you can do that's going to make me think he's a good quarterback. He's just not. He's not the right fit. It's very fitting and hilarious that Baker Mayfield ended up being the better of the two. And yes, I realize that's a meme going around on the internet right now, but it is so true, man. They should have stuck with Baker Mayfield. But instead, they make the worst contract in NFL history by giving Deshaun Watson all that money.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, just terrible. But here's the funny thing about the Browns. The Browns can come out and smoke a team any week, any given Sunday, if their defense decides to have one of those crazy all-time great games. Myles Garrett is right up there with T.J. Watt, Chris Jones, for possibly the best defensive player in the game.
He's top 5.
Oh, dude. So, anyway, I'm staying a mile away from this game. Yeah, the Jaguars still have not fixed their issue of figuring out how to win games. They just cannot. They cannot close anything. So,
I think it's important. I think it's important to remember, too, the Browns looked that bad offensively, and they were playing against, one of the best defenses in the NFL. I mean, the Cowboys defense is nasty, absolutely nasty. The pick that Deshaun threw on that little short, I don't know if it was a slant to the right side, and Micah Parsons tipped it up in the air. I mean, he is an absolute athletic freak. The Browns will probably look a lot better this week at Jacksonville. We'll see how that one goes. I'm excited to see how both of those teams bounce back. Browns getting absolutely blown out week 1. Jaguars giving up that lead and missing an opportunity against the Dolphins. So no pick on that one for either of us. The next one, Giants at the Commanders. Commanders are favored by 1.5 here. This seems like you should take the Commanders all day because Daniel Jones can't throw a touchdown. They gave up Saquon Barkley. They have no weapons. What do you think on this one? Are you picking it?
I am actually picking in this game.
Okay, where are you going?
Guys, the over under for this game is 43 points.
Ooh,
I am going under. I think these two teams are abysmal. And let's think about this. If the game was 21-21, this bet would still happen. I'm going under 43 total score for Giants, Commanders. This game is going to be ugly. I'm surprised this isn't the Amazon Prime Thursday night game, honestly.
it will be later on, I'm sure.
It will be. So I'm going under. I know that that's kind of a weird thing to do. We've been talking nothing but spreads, but when I saw this, I was like, dude, I'm taking the under on this game. So I'm not actually doing a spread. That's what I'm taking. Dusty, what are your thoughts?
Man, I really hadn't thought much about. I don't really bet a lot of totals. I just I don't know why there's so many things that in with the totals with the game flow that things that seem like are a lock, things that seem like they should absolutely be no brainers. Just I don't like doing it. It's the ultimate way to make you mad on a Sunday. Why playing the totals? I like it much more in college, but I'm not playing this at all. To argue your point though, to be kind of devil's advocate on that, are either one of these defenses very good?
Well, to your point, no, the defenses aren't good, and the over and under could be swayed by, is it an interception and they immediately get tackled, or is it an interception that's a pick six? And are there multiple pick sixes? Because if there's multiple pick sixes, then that kind of puts the under in jeopardy. So I see what you're saying. That's a really good point I hadn't thought about.
Well, and I want to say something too, and I want you to make sure you clip this and make this one a reel because
Hold
this
on.
is
What do you want? What do you want me to clip and make a reel?
this next point here, okay? Because it's something that you and I have done the last couple of years, and I think it's a really, really good way to increase your odds. We can all acknowledge how close Vegas is to the final score and the final totals, right? Majority of the time, it is very, very, very close. I mean, we saw 7 or 8 games last week that were decided on the spread by half a point. Okay. If you are someone who likes to live bet, okay, if you're on DraftKings and DraftKings FanDuel, it's very easy to do live bets. The overreactions that happen to opening drives, to turnovers, I mean, it changes so frequently. So, for example, Hunter, if you're going, you said 43 and a half here. If I'm
43.
watching this game, if I see this, if I'm watching this game, and for some reason, let's say Jayden Daniels drives down the field first drive and it's 7-0, 2 minutes in. All right. That line is probably going to bump to 46, 47. All right. So you automatically right there, right off the bat, can jump in there and get an extra 4 points and increase your odds. It's the same way on the spreads as well. One of the things I did last week with the Buffalo game is when Buffalo got down 17-3, I ended up getting a pretty good amount on them plus 1.5, right? And I did that live just based on the overreaction to where the game was in the second quarter. So that's a really, really easy strategy, in my opinion, and just go off of, okay, how are we increasing our chances with the original spread that Vegas put out or the original total that Vegas put out? So a lot of the times when I'm betting a game that I wasn't betting at the beginning, or a game like these games that I'm not doing anything on, I will jump in on them live after I see an overreaction, if that makes sense. What do you think, Hunter? Makes sense?
Yeah. I think it is in our nature to be impulsive and not very patient with something like betting, which that's kind of what Vegas preys on. I mean, dude, I said I would do no parlays, and the amount of parlays I put in week 1 was embarrassing. Lost all of them. Anyway, live betting is insane. It's crazy that they even let you do it. Dusty's totally right. It's almost, if you're somebody who needs to get back because you are in a deficit, it's almost good to just circle all of the games that you would like to bet on. Give you an example. So for the Patriots, I'm taking them plus 3.5 this week. I'm not real sure about the Patriots plus 3.5. Guys, if who are the Patriots playing one more time? I'm drawing a blank, Dusty.
Oh, Seahawks.
If the Seahawks win the coin flip and go down and score first play of the game, deep ball to DK Metcalf, that line is immediately going to go from Patriots plus 3.5 to
Probably 7, 6.5.
Patriots plus 7. So when you see that game live and you see that something's not going your way right off the bat, well, maybe it is going your way because you're looking at the lines now and you're getting double the spread or double the odds that you were going to be getting, and you don't have to lose any money to do it. You know what I mean? So live betting, definitely a fan of it. Now, it can get you in trouble because you can also be too impulsive live betting. It's so you definitely have to stay disciplined and keep your emotions in check. But yeah, I think the live betting point you brought up is great.
Yeah, and to go back to your week 1 rule, having a system, having rules. My rule on that is I'll do one. If I see an overreaction at the beginning and I want to get the exact same wager that I would have placed, but I want to get 4 extra points there, I will do that. I'll put it in. And if it keeps going the wrong direction, I'm not touching it. That's okay. The where you get in trouble is when, okay, well, I took let's say I took the Bills last week at plus 1.5. Well, let's say that it ends up being 24-3 Cardinals. And now I'm saying, okay, now I'm going to take the Bills plus 10. Or if I would have done that in the Panthers game, right? They were down 40-0, right? If I would have taken them, all right, plus 37.5, still would have been screwed. Okay. Like you've got to be disciplined enough to just say, okay, the only reason I'm taking this is because I'm giving myself a better chance against the original odds, and that's it. And then you're done. So that's my recommendation there. It's statistically, and it also, if you're watching a game and you're waiting to live bet it and it doesn't go the direction that you were going to live bet it, stay away from it. Don't say, okay, well, it's going this other direction and now I'm going to take the opposite side here. Don't do it. Unless that was your plan originally. So anyway, enough of our soapbox and preaching. Those are just a couple tips and strategies that we use and that we're helping, improve us and being more profitable. So next game, this one is one that I really like, and I don't know why I like it. It feels like it's wrong and it feels like a trap, but it's Rams at Cardinals. The Rams are 1-point underdogs against the Cardinals. And traditionally, I think the Rams have had a really hard time handling the Cardinals, even when they've been good. The years that, the Rams have been in the Super Bowl, pretty sure they normally lose to the Cardinals. Go ahead.
Real quick, is this you making your case for your pick?
No, I'm kind of just giving an outline overall of the game. It feels weird. What do you think on this game?
Rams Cardinals, I have no idea. This game did not pop out to me at all. Dude, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay. So I am going Rams here. I'm going Rams, and I'm actually just going to take them money line.
And this is one of your picks?
Yep. I'm actually going to try to – so I'm taking them money line here. They're actually underdogs. I'm taking them on the money line to give me a little bit more profit here. Gosh dang, if Rams lose by 1 and I don't get the push, then oh well. I think the Rams are a better team. I think that Sean McVay kind of gave that game away to the Lions the other night. Now, I do want to make sure Matt Stafford is healthy. I know he got banged up late in the game. If you're going to do this one, do a little bit of looking, do a little bit of research, make sure everything looks good on the injury front. I haven't seen anything that tells me that Stafford's going to be out, but before I place this, I will make sure that everything's looking good on that end. Okay, so Rams Rams money line against the Cardinals with a little star asterisk symbol to making sure that everybody's healthy before I place that. Okay.
Okay, I like it. What's the next game?
Hang on, let me go back to this too. The one reason why this is closer, Puka's out at least 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, I think that's why this is as close as it is, which I think is a little bit of an overreaction. I think Cooper Kupp is still Cooper Kupp. He's healthy. I like their running game. I still like their defense, even with Aaron Donald out. I think it's the matchup we saw last week with them playing at Detroit is similar to the matchup we saw with Baltimore and Kansas City. I think you have two of your best teams in the conference, duking it out, playing really, really good football in a really close game. I don't think the Cardinals are good. I can't stand Kyler Murray. So Rams here.
Cool.
Bengals at Chiefs. Let's
All right.
go.
Who do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You're betting this, right?
Oh yeah, I'm betting it.
Oh, let's hear Hunter. Let's hear Hunter, little bro. Let's hear his pick.
All right, so I am going Chiefs -5. This morning I got Chiefs -5 on DraftKings. Let's see. I always kind of hate betting the Chiefs because I don't want my fandom to get in the way of logic. But my fandom and logic is aligning this week because the Bengals are an absolute dumpster fire every year, week 1, week 2. But this year you add to that the drama with Jamar Chase. T. Higgins, not sure if he's playing. Joe Burrow, I'm not sure if he's not still injured. His throwing hand from last year. He popped that ligament or tendon in his wrist, and he just didn't look the same. He didn't look like he had a lot of zip on his ball week 1. I do have my concerns that the line is only -5 for the Chiefs because I feel like the Chiefs are going to win by way more than 5. So that's the Bengals side of things. I think they're just incompetent right now. The Chiefs side of things, I think that this is a way better Chiefs team compared to last year. And I think the Chiefs defense is almost as good as they were last year. So I think our pass rush is going to absolutely devastate the Bengals offensive line. I think the Chiefs' weapons are going to have a heyday against this aging Bengals defense. This roster would have been really good, 2-3 years ago, but all these guys are getting old, and this is going to look absolutely terrible for me if the Bengals come out of this with a win, because I just don't see how it could happen. But Dusty, what are your thoughts?
What's more likely? What's more likely to happen? Is this a Chiefs blowout or is it a close game? The pass rush for the Chiefs, like you just mentioned, dude, Chris Jones was absolutely unreal last Thursday against Baltimore. I know it didn't necessarily look like it because Lamar's so mobile. Dude, he was in the backfield all night. They could not block him. That's a different story against Joe Burrow, right? And against an offensive line that is not great. They've spent a ton of money on trying to protect him. All the money on Orlando Brown. They've added pieces. They've added draft picks. It's not working. It's not working. So for some reason, until they figure out how to protect Joe Burrow, I still think the Chiefs always have the advantage against the Bengals. Now, the receivers still scare me. The tight end matchup against the biggest negative for me defensively last week watching the Chiefs was Nick Bolton, which pains me to say because I'm a Mizzou guy. I love Nick Bolton, and watching him have a rough night kind of sucked. I think we're kind of overreacting a little bit in Kansas City about that. But that's kind of what worries me a little bit as far as us stopping the Bengals. I don't know, man. It just feels like the Chiefs are due for a regular season victory and kind of a stomping over the Bengals and just to kind of put them in their place. So I'm going Chiefs here. Chiefs -5. I don't know how I can't go against them on this. Like there's no logical reason of why you would go with the Bengals here. There's none. So, and what makes me feel even better is that the public is on the Bengals because it's moved. It's moved, you know, more in the Bengals' favor here. So I like that piece of it.
Okay. All right. I love it. What's the next game?
Steelers at Broncos. Steelers plus 2.5. Didn't score a touchdown last week. Kind of got me that was reminiscent of that Chiefs loss back in what, 2015, 2016 when the Steelers came in and beat the Chiefs without scoring a touchdown. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not touching this game.
I'm not touching it either. TJ Watt is unreal, and man, if you are somebody who likes to bet the Steelers, they're still a pretty good pick whenever they're the underdogs. And did you say that they are underdogs this week?
Yeah. They're no. They're favored. Broncos are 2.5. Broncos are 2.5 point dogs at home.
Yeah. See, if I was gonna bet this, I would actually bet the Broncos. But the reason I'm staying away from this is because it's two teams that aren't very good. But absolutely do not trust the Steelers as favorites. They're great underdogs. They're terrible favorites, especially on the road. So staying a mile away from this game.
Yeah, I don't like the Broncos at all. I'm not talking about from an actual fan standpoint. I don't know anything about them yet. I don't know. I mean, they covered for you, right? Or they pushed for you against Seattle.
Yes, they pushed, and then on the other hand, I actually jumped in on the Steelers +4 this past week, and I put 2 units on them for some weird reason, and that ended up saving me. I lost quite a bit of money week 1, and I've got to be more disciplined this week because of that. But Steelers definitely helped me get back closer to even. So appreciate them, but I'm staying away from them this week.
When you say that you lost last week, a lot of that though was because you said about the parlays, right? You play some parlays. From a spread standpoint, let's remind people here. So my goal and my method here is I don't really judge anything off of a week. I don't even off of 2 weeks. I'm looking at months. Okay. This is a 17 or 18 week season, right? 17 games. And you want to be profitable over time. Okay. And so after 1 week with the spread picks, you were down a unit, Hunter. I was even. Okay. I was minus like 1/10 of a unit. Okay. I'm calling that even. So, when you're trying to look at this and stack it over time, staying away from those parlays, like you said in week 1, helps you kind of stay on track for where you want to get to. So, yeah, that's why I'm sticking with these spreads, man.
I felt like my old lady at Hobby Lobby with fall decorations, dude. They just hit the shelves, and these parlays and specials just hit the shelves, and I was grabbing every damn thing that was on sale or was inviting. I got absolutely baited into so many things. I was just so excited to bet again that I was an idiot. It's my own fault. I deserve everything that I got last week.
So here's, it's not all your fault. Okay.
Love you, Brooke, by the way.
DraftKings makes it so easy and tempting. I mean, they're advertising their boosts and they're advertising, and it's just it sucks you in. I don't use DraftKings. I don't use it anymore. Just except for very rare occasions, and that has helped me because I'm not seeing all of the stuff put right in front of my face that like, oh, that's good, let's do it. So anyway, next game, I like this game a lot. It's the Bears at the Texans. Texans had a closer game than they wanted with the Colts. That was an absolute battle. Texans are 6-point favorites at home against the Bears. Are you playing this one?
I'm not. Are you playing this one?
Yes, I am. I'm taking Texans minus the 6.
Okay.
And I don't really have. I don't really have anything other than the obvious reasons here. I think C.J. Stroud is really, really good. I think the Bears are not very, very good. I think Caleb Williams is kind of what I thought it would look like. And I know I said earlier it's week 1. He didn't really play. I don't even know if he played in the preseason. So it's obviously going to take some time for Caleb Williams. That game, though, I mean, the reason they even came back in that Titans game was it a pick six off of the worst thrown ball I've ever seen in my life when Will Levis just kind of underhand threw it out there. And then was it a punt block for a touchdown or a punt return for a touchdown? I mean, it was two special teams, two defensive special team scores. They didn't do anything on offense.
I believe it was a blocked punt return.
Yeah.
It was a scoop and score.
And you've got the Texans home opener. It's going to be electric. I mean, they have such high expectations this year. And I mean, Stephon Diggs looked good in week 1 down there. I mean, their receiving core with Tank Dell and Nico Collins, man, the Texans they're looking good. They look like they've got it. I mean, that was a big win for them week 1 going to Indianapolis, and kind of getting out of there, sneaking out of there with a win within that dogfight. So Texans minus the 6, lock it in.
Real quick, somebody commented on Facebook. Brandon Burnside said punt block, Jonathan Owens, Missouri Western, also Simone Biles' husband.
What?
So, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He went to the Bears. So, yeah, dude, crazy game. I love seeing the Titans lose like that, low key.
You know, Brandon. Fun fact about Brandon. Brandon played wide receiver at Missouri Western.
Oh hell yeah!
So
he probably knows this guy.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if he knows him, but I'm sure he, probably talked to him a couple times.
Heck yeah.
Times. Good receiver at Missouri Western. So, last game of the week, my man. Falcons at Eagles. Eagles are 6-point favorites at home.
Are you picking anything on this?
Hang on a second. I have here that. The line is 6.5. Okay, Eagles minus 6.5. I have on here, I'm playing the Eagles minus the 6 by and the half point.
So you're picking this?
Yeah, I'm going Eagles. Eagles minus the 6.
Hold on, say that again.
Eagles minus 6. The line is currently at 6.5. I am buying a half point to take the Eagles in this one. I thought they looked absolutely horrible their first 2 drives against Green Bay the other night, and then they looked like they figured it out. And whew, they look good. AJ Brown, holy cow, dude, I kind of expected a little bit of a drop off. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I thought maybe he's just going to get a little bit older. I know I was talking about how he's kind of whiny and the drama queen stuff in week 1. Man, he looked really, really good. And I don't think the Falcons, the Falcons have no clue how to start a season. They're kind of like the Browns, man. They start in the hole every single year.
You mean Bengals?
What did I say?
Browns.
Yes, they're like the Bengals. Okay, they're like the Bengals, and and then the Falcons midway through 4 or 5 games in, that's when you want to kind of start playing with the Falcons and as being an underdog, right? That's what happened last year. It helped me a lot last year, but they just don't seem to have it, and they didn't play Kirk Cousins coming off the injury in the preseason at all to get him any reps. He's still pretty rusty. Eagles coming home, right? After being in Brazil. Yeah, I like the Eagles. I think this is our Monday Night Football game. I like this. I think this is going to be a blowout.
Okay. Cool. That's a great last pick. I'm not betting spread on this game. I'm not even decided if I'm betting this game at all, but if I were going to bet something, I would bet that I would probably do some kind of prop where each team has a turnover. Dude, Jalen Hurts looks absolutely terrible.
He didn't look terrible.
He should have had 5. He could have had 5 interceptions or 5 turnovers.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you on it, but
now to be fair, some of that could be the fact that he's got a new center. Jason Kelce, clearly best center in the league. He just retired. So, this new guy that they've got, clearly they're not on the same page. I think the Eagles, much like the Chiefs a couple years ago. Do you remember when the Chiefs had that? It was like they had the turnover plague.
Mm-hmm. I do.
I think the Eagles are going to struggle with that for weeks. I think there's going to be a fumble or an interception for the next month and a half. I just think the Eagles still kind of have whatever was going on with them last year, where they ended the season terribly and they lost like 5 of their last 6 or whatever it was. I think that they're still kind of trying to get that monkey off their back. It was disguised a little bit last week because the Packers just didn't come buttoned up. They just were kind of a big letdown, in my opinion. I don't think the Eagles are nearly as good as everybody thinks that they are. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But I'm going to be putting probably some kind of turnover bet on this game because Kirk Cousins doesn't look good either.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like the turnover. I like that prop. Each team to have a turnover. You got to check and see. While I'm talking here, you got to check and see what that would pay. See if you can get the odds on that. One of the things that was really interesting with the Eagles and Green Bay game, and I was really upset, obviously, because I had the Packers, but early in that game, whenever the Eagles had those turnovers off, the center having a bad snap, Jalen Hurts not looking crisp to start, the Packers missed such an opportunity. They needed to put it in the end zone, and it would have been interesting to see how the Eagles responded to that adversity had they gotten down 13-0 or 10-0 versus getting the ball back and it being 6-0, and they kind of can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. And after that, man, I mean, they bounced back really, really well. And the offense looked really good. The tush push, they still got that thing in their bag. Not that, I mean, it sounds so dumb to even keep bringing that up, but man, when you've got 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, and you can continue to do that, it changes the game. It does, because you're talking about turnover on down or a punt, and
True.
They're able, they'll line up with they'll line up. Hell, if it's 2nd and 2, they'll do it right then. They'll just go ahead and get it. So I don't know, man. I do like the Eagles in this game. I think the Falcons are same old Falcons, and I really like Philly at home with their home opener. So
okay. Also, just doing some research on this Atlanta Falcons Philadelphia Eagles turnover prop. Eagles to lose a fumble on DraftKings, yes, is plus 140. Atlanta Falcons to lose a fumble, yes, is plus 135. So if you wanted to get crazy, let's see. Oh, you can't parlay that. That's dumb. I can keep looking for stuff. There's probably some kind of turnover prop for this game. Haven't found it yet. But anyway, there's also total turnovers over 2.5 is plus 130. So even Vegas knows that it's a pretty strong possibility. So the odds really may not be worth it because
I wouldn't do it. Not enough. There's not enough reward there.
Yeah. Over 2.5 turnovers for the game, and it's only plus 130. It sounds like Vegas is kind of already they've thought about this for sure.
So let's review these picks real quick, and then we can read the parlays at the end. That we've got a couple buddies that have sent stuff in. So,
okay. Do you want to? Here, I'll tell you what. Go over.
We'll just outline our picks, just kind of highlight them. We're not going to talk on them anymore. But
well, here, how about this? You just repeat all of your picks for week 2.
On the Bills game, did we say plus 3 on the Bills? I know it's at 2.5. Did we say we're buying the half point and going plus 3? Or are we just taking Bills plus 2.5?
Just whatever you pick, I'll do the same.
Let's just go Buffalo plus the 2.5. Okay, I think Buffalo plus the 2.5. I've got Baltimore -8 against the Raiders. I've got the Niners -5. I did buy the half point on that game. The Niners -5 against the Vikings. I have the Chargers -6. I have the Jets -3. Bought the half point. And when we say buying the half point, guys, if you think it's going to move a little bit and you want to wait and see if it moves so you don't got to spend a little, we're talking going from minus 110 to 120 or 120, minus 125. So you're giving up just a little bit of profit, but you're kind of protecting yourself a little bit with a push. So to me, that's worth it in my opinion. So Jets minus 3. I took the Jags off the board, so not betting that one. I have Rams +1. Okay. Rams +1. I know I said I was going to do money line. I'm going to go ahead and just keep it at +1. Okay. Rams +1 against the Cardinals. Chiefs -5 against the Bengals. Texans -6 against the Bears. And Eagles -6 by a half point against the Falcons. So I got a lot of plays this week. More than I would normally do, but I like them. So we're rolling with it.
Okay, beautifully done. I'm about to outline my picks for week 2 for you guys. So I'm probably not going to go in order like Dusty just did. He's a lot more organized. Thank you for hosting the show today, by the way. You did a great job just keeping everything straight. So my first pick is New England Patriots +3.5 against the Seahawks. They are home dogs. Love that. I might get bit by going Patriots twice in a row because they're just not a very consistent team. I've got Ravens -8 against the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that the Ravens are going to bounce back big this week, and they're going to beat up on a terrible Raiders team. I've got the LA Chargers -6 against the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers are terrible, maybe one of the worst teams we've seen in years. I could be getting baited into this, but I'm taking the LA Chargers -6. New York Giants and Washington Commanders. I'm getting a little exotic with this, but I'm taking under 43 total points on the score. These two teams are terrible. I just think there's going to be hardly any scoring. That could really come back to bite me, but who cares?
No, I like that pick, man. I like it. And I like how I like the, I don't know, the determination that you've got with that one. So
thank you. The conviction.
The conviction. Yeah, that's the right word.
Appreciate it. Next one I got is Tennessee Titans +3.5. Who are they playing, Dusty? I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, Jets. This is the only game I think we're split on.
Yeah. So Jets are coming to Nashville. Tennessee Titans +3.5. I feel terrible making this pick, but I think it's the right side. Titans lose games that they should win, and they win games that they should lose. I think the Jets are overrated. I think we're overreacting a little bit to just how bad the Titans were last. I don't think the Titans are going to turn the ball over the same way. I just don't see them doing the same thing as they did last week. So I like the Titans +3.5. KC Chiefs against the Cincinnati Bengals. I love the Chiefs -5. It just feels like the logical thing. That's all I'm going to say about it because I kind of went on a rant about this game. So I'll just leave it at that. Chiefs -5. And then tonight's game, it's Thursday night football. Guys, enjoy this because Thursday night football does not stay good for very long. You had Chiefs Ravens last week. This week, tonight, you've got Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins. I'm taking the Bills +2.5. They are road dogs. I just think Josh Allen is second best quarterback in this league. He is scary to bet on because he's a roller coaster. But I think he stays disciplined enough in this divisional game. Divisional. They're in the same division. I think he stays disciplined enough because he knows how much this game is going to mean for seeding at the end of the year. I think that they'll probably get the outright win against Miami, but I'm taking Buffalo Bills +2.5. Those are my picks, and I'm about to see.
So you got 7 plays on the board. I think I've got 9 here.
Okay. Hey, and real quick, tell them how we're going to do the scoring because, we're picking different amounts of games.
Yeah, so the easiest way to keep track is just going by units. All right, going by units, and I think I talked about this last week, but just for an example, when you're betting in units or wagering in units, You've got your set amount, right? Let's say that you want to start with $100 on the year. Okay. For me, every wager that I do, every unit is 2%. Okay. So if it was $100, that means it would be $2 per wager. Okay. Do the math. If you're going to 1,000, it'd be 20. All right. So going on units, you can either do it. You can do it one of two ways. You can either do 2% of what your total bankroll is, or you can do to win 2% of what your total bankroll is currently. Okay. So the difference in that would be if I'm just going off 2%, if my wagers are 2%, okay, it's $20 off of 1,000 or $2 off of 100. Okay. If I'm trying to win 20, obviously I'm gonna have to bet a little bit more than 20 because my odds are going to bring it down on the profit piece of it. Okay. But get one of those and stick with it. Just stick with it. Okay. So that way, when you're going throughout the season and you're looking at your month or your week or your year, however you want to look at it, you just look at units. All right. How much am I up? How much am I down? Hunter, you're down a unit to start. I'm even to start. So as crazy as week one was, we're both still in, we're just fine. Just fine. And you could easily have a 4-unit week, right? So for you, Hunter, if you went 7-0 this week, because of the juice that's in those odds, right? You're really probably only gaining 5 units. Okay. 5.5 units, even if you win all 7 of those, if that makes sense. You get it?
Doesn't make any sense. It all went over my head.
So because if you're betting $100, but you only win 90, okay, and you get 7 of those games, well, Vegas keeps the difference, right? The whatever you're using keeps the difference in that. All right. So that's why whenever you're betting 5 games, if you win all 5, you don't just get, you don't double your money. You're a little bit off of it, right? Because they're keeping a little bit. So anyway, we're going off units. So I'm playing 9 games, you're playing 7, and I'm giving you one more chance. Are you sure you don't want to quit while you're ahead with the New England Patriots? You sticking with it?
I'm gonna regret this, but I am sticking with the New England Patriots. Yeah,
I love it.
I think there is some, although it is false hope, I think there is some rejuvenated optimism in the New England Patriots organization because of Gerard Mayo.
Okay.
I think they ride that into week 2 and surprise some people again, and then after that, I'll probably start fading them. I probably won't pick them for a while. So
okay. Well, hey, we had people that were on this entire podcast watching, and those of you that were, thank you. Obviously, this is the first year that we've done this. We just expect it to grow over time, but thank you to anybody that's liked our page, that's followed us. We have to be active. We have to have 100 followers, which we've already got over that. Thank you to everybody that came on and followed and liked the page, but we also have to be active for 60 days on Facebook before we can go live to that page. So thanks for the support. Hunter, I do want to read these parlays. Okay. Toby sent me a parlay, a little 3-leg parlay that I like. He's got Buffalo plus 2.5.
Okay.
He has the Bucks at plus 7. We didn't play that game, but could happen. I like that. And then Jets minus 3.5. All right. That's his parlay. I'm not sure what it pays. Let me see here. Can you put that in? Can you put that parlay in real quick?
Let me do that. And again, these are DraftKings odds. Every book that you go to could be slightly different. Could be the same, could be different. So this is DraftKings. Could you say that one more time?
Buffalo plus 2.5.
Okay.
Bucks plus 7.
Hold on, I got to get these. Atlanta, and that was in my slip. Okay. Buffalo plus 2.5. What was the next one?
Tampa Bay Bucks plus the 7.
Okay. I gotta do alternate line on that because it's plus 7.5.
Yep.
Here, actually, let's
just
do
go 7.5.
Since it's favorable to us and we don't gotta sacrifice any profit, let's go Bucks plus 7.5. Okay. And then what was the last one?
Jets. Jets plus the 3.5.
Okay. And hey, No, you mean Jets minus 3.5?
Sorry, yeah, it's my fault. Yes, Jets
Okay.
minus 3.5.
So this parlay, if you get on DraftKings, if you like the sound of this parlay, get on DraftKings right now because the Jets are -4. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Gosh, dang it, dude, I'm losing my mind. Yeah, you would buy the half a point. So you would go to game lines, you would go down to Jets, scroll the wheel over to 3.5, grab the Jets at -3.5. That is a 3-leg parlay. Parlay odds are plus 574. So let's just say you put $5 on it, pays out. Let's see.
Almost paying almost $30 in profit.
Yeah, it is okay. $5 on this 3-leg is $33 payout for a $5 bet. So you're basically getting
$28.
yeah, $28, $29. So
I like it.
yeah, that's a good if a parlay could be conservative, which none of them actually are, that's a relatively safe one. Safe's
Yeah.
not a good word, but yeah, that's if you wanna experiment with doing some parlays, that's a pretty good one, Toby. I like that. And then my guy, he didn't come up short. He just didn't know what time we were going to be shooting today, so he didn't quite have it ready. But
No, you're good.
We'll get him on next time. Dude, he has been on an absolute tear, so I'm excited to share some of his picks if he's willing to give them. But
Okay. Yeah. Hey, and we're also looking for sponsorships too. If anybody wants to sponsor this bad boy, I know we only have, I think our total that we got up to today was like 15 at one time. I really do anticipate this being something that grows a little bit, especially weekly as we go. So, yeah, if anybody's interested in sponsoring a little bit, we can hold up, like the Kelsey brothers do, energy drinks. I don't know. You got any ideas, Hunter, on that? Hendersonville Fire Department?
sponsorships. It would be cool. It would be really cool to get like a local sponsor because let's be honest, this is a brand new show, so majority of the people are going to be people in the KC area or in the Nashville
Right.
area. They're going to be viewing this show, so we're not going to act like it's something bigger than it is. It's not big
100%.
yet. So if you're a Reese and Nichols real estate agent and you want people to be reminded of who the best real estate company is in the Pleasant Hill, Lee Summit area, then go ahead and be the sponsor for the Big Bet Bros.
Yeah.
That was just an example. That was just something random that popped into my head. But
Okay. I like it.
hell yeah.
Hey, exciting for week 2. Excited for week 2. Like you said earlier, we don't have very many Thursday night games that are good ones throughout the season. The first 2 are going to be good ones. Let's get it started tonight with a win. It's Buffalo coming through tonight.
Okay.
All right. Hey, this was week 2 picks in the NFL from Big Bet Bros. Thank you to everyone who checked it out. Guys, if you could just share it, share any of these posts, tell your friends about it. If you got anybody that that would be just interested in, checking this out, we appreciate all the love. We appreciate all the support and can't wait to see where this thing goes. So let's get rolling with week 2.
Yep. I'll echo everything that Dusty just said. One thing I'll add, see the logo there in the middle of the screen, middle lower part of the screen. It says Big Bet Bros. Type that in on any and all social media platforms. We are on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We're putting out reels. We're going live. We're having guests on, hopefully. So like this is just something that everybody can be part of, and hopefully if you guys are following our bets, we can get you a little bit of money, make the games a little more exciting for you. And yeah, this is a lot of fun. So thank you so much, Dusty, for, like I said, running the show today. You had everything super organized. This stream went way better than the first stream. So
dude, it's learning. My mic situation, my camera situation, we'll just keep getting better with it. So I did have some feedback from folks on that. So appreciate the feedback on those last week. That had definitely helped us. So there was one other thing I was going to say, but I don't remember what it was. We need to hop off of here. So
for sure.
All right. Peace out, everybody. Appreciate anybody that's supporting this, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. See y'all.
See you.